You're on mute, Goose.
Good
Ah!
morning, everybody. I am just finishing off a post so that everyone is reminded of the mastermind today. Let me just do that. Is anyone else having a really chilly day? It's sunny, but cold as shit.
Oh, shut up. It's -20.
Oh, well. And that,
Dude, in Portland, it's like 53. We got a warm front over here.
oh, man.
Everybody got the blizzard, and we got 50-degree weather. It's like, what in the world?
Did you get rain, though?
Oh, we're always rain, but this morning is sunny. Like he said, it's super sunny on the West Coast, I think. It is sunny here in Portland today, which is rare because it's continually raining from November to about March.
Yeah, there's like no more sun.
No more sun, yeah. But there is today. Like I opened my window because the sun came in. I was like, yay! Surprisingly, how that affects you, not having sun. You're like I didn't think I'd be like, not a problem. But actually, it's kind of wild. You're like, I wish I saw some sun. It does affect you mentally.
It does. When I lived in northern Alberta in a place called Fort McMurray, it has like the typical summers is usually like a daylight-ish for probably 20 hours, I would say. And there's like 4 hours of like twilight. And then the exact opposite in the winter.
Ouch.
So dark. So dark.
That sounds horrible.
It did affect the noodle, I gotta say.
Yeah, I bet it was.
Oh, it does. It absolutely does.
Yeah, it lasted 2 years. I'm like, get me out.
Dudes, let's go ahead and jump in. People will trickle in as they come. So first off, I want to hear from Tomzid and Haley. I'd love to get a little intro so that everyone can find out what you're doing and what brings you here. Let's see.
Yeah,
Haley,
hi everyone. I'm Haley. Yeah, sure. I'm Haley. I'm based in Los Angeles. This is my first mastermind with y'all, so excited to join and just kind of learn from you all. And yeah, I'm not sure what else to include in my intro here. What else?
What brought you here?
What brought me here? Like I'm trying to just build I'm pretty new to Skool, so I'm just learning sort of Skool overall, trying to build and get a community going for PhD students, those who are graduated, those who are interested in a program. So that's kind of my idea, but I'm like very beginning stages and just thinking through sort of that layout process, etc.
Yeah, awesome. Hey, love that. Thank you for your intro here, Haley. Hey, Haley's she's very humble. PhDs, basically. Tomzid, are you there? All right. Well, if you show up, just raise your hand in there, and we'll get a little intro from you. And Jen, are you down to give a little intro? Hear me? Yeah. Go ahead. It's basically just what brings you here and what you're working on. But I can't hear you. We might have some lip readers on the call, though. Maybe that can help. Any look?
Audio.
Doesn't look like it.
Audio.
All right. Well, all right. Well, raise your hand if you feel like you've figured it out, and then we can go ahead and jump to. All right, sweet. So today the big one is finishing off this last blitz and figuring out who the winners are. Yaya, I think we're gonna, if you can make a post after this for people to tally up their team's points. We had, I think, 8 days over what we were expecting. People just kept running with it. So as you saw from the post, I was like, just keep doing it. That's awesome. And we're going to start up the new one with all of the lessons that we learned here, probably on the, what's the next week's Monday? So probably on the 13th. I think on the 13th, we'll start the new one and go for, everyone had voted for a 3-week stint. So I think we're going to do that one. And so we're going to basically have the rest of January running for the brand new and improved blitz, which, by the way, will be largely based off of time zone. Like We were talking about that a bit. That's going to be the big one. So you're going to vote on your time zone. And I believe what we're going to do is you can't work with the people that you worked with the month before.
Nice.
But I think we're going to let people choose their teams, which will be pretty badass. I think I'm looking forward to that. So, and that was some feedback too from you, Joseph.
Nice.
Love that. Any questions about new Blitz or old Blitz in this case?
My biggest question would be, what are the how to score points? What are the rules of the game and how to score points?
I think it'll be similar to this one. Was this one clear?
It was, when I first started, I thought it was based on tasks or activities that you decided on as a team, and then at the end it became how many booked calls.
That was
You know what I'm saying?
extra credit.
There was like this last minute, oh, we score points by booking calls, and then we went on this booking call frenzy. It's like, oh my God. I was like, I'm not ready yet, but I gotta book some calls.
Yeah.
It was one of those
that
things.
was-
So what are the
well,
kind of rules to earn points?
Great question. It'll still be based off of action taken,
Okay.
but
We decided as a group, book calls was the best action, I guess.
yeah, well, Bryce is really excited for that. He's been
Yeah,
crushing.
he is. Yeah,
I
no,
think
I
he's
love
making
it.
enough money to quit his 9 to 5 now. I think he just quit actually.
Well, he got fired.
Oh, well, beautiful. That
Yeah, that's lovely to get fired because you didn't show up to work because you have enough money not to show up to work.
that guy's an animal. I love that. Yeah, he's got 9 clients now.
That's insane.
And all showed up within the last 3 weeks. Dude's an animal. I love it. He'll probably jump on here in a little bit.
Yeah, because I needed to get his total. He was the only one I didn't get the total for the game.
Yeah. Well,
I was curious to hear if he showed up. I was like, "Give me your total, man. Give me your total." I'd be excited.
Yeah. Let's see if we can get those today.
Yeah.
I'll message him. I spoke with him yesterday, but yeah, he was so over the moon with it. He was really excited, which is great. That's exactly what we want. I want people to be able to step away from their shit or fucking just get fired. Whatever method is the most fun. I think that's exactly what we're doing this for. So to finish answering your question, yeah, I think it's still going to be based off of action. At least you're taking one action every day. And the book calls, was that good? Was that too much? I mean, it is what gets you the clients, but it's kind of what a high ticket strategy does. And I'm not sure if that's necessarily what we're trying to do here. What do you think?
It's good if you're at the stage of which book calls is where you're at, but if you're in the I'm trying to build your community engagement stage, then booking calls isn't necessarily your focus.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think I'll try and I'll give that one some thought. Maybe book calls won't be the one maybe it'll be a
But that's if it's a high ticket contest, then book calls that's kind of the main deal.
There's enough places where you can learn the high ticket thing here. I think this is going to be, I think the main thing we're going to be teaching here is how to scale low ticket, which is going to be, I mean, that's how most of us are going to have a sustainable, steady income. Because even the big guys, most of it comes from their low ticket, and they just naturally like, hey, how can you do this for me? And it's a lot less sales pitchy. And just across the board, people generally seem to be happier when they're running those things. So that's what I'm going to be.
When you say low ticket, what is low ticket MRR? What is the highest? What is too high MRR to consider it not low ticket?
I think I'd probably consider it $500 a month and under.
Okay, good. Mine was at $500 a month, and I'm like, shoot, that's a little high ticket. But if you're like, no, that's still low ticket.
Kind of still mid ticket. You can kind of consider mid ticket between 100 and 500. But there's this range there where if you don't really have a mature market, which Skool is still not the most mature market, you would basically have that to most people will be high ticket. So you want to be able to offer a mid or low, because that's mostly going to be a done with you or a do it yourself as opposed to a done for you, which is inherently not that scalable. So if you stay out of that category, you're able to scale very quickly, and then you can have like a team that runs your DFYs.
Gotcha.
I mean, it's probably your perfect situation. But a lot of people started high ticket and then branched to low ticket, and I think that strategy is based off of what I've seen with all the Skool Games winners, is a bit more challenging. To do that, by and large, with big groups of people.
Because you're still on the spiky up and down, up and down. I mean, you got to get the clients and then they go away, and you got to get the clients and they go away versus the
Yeah.
steady.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's always
Getting off that wheel.
Yeah, the happiest people are always the ones that have a big group of folks that are like, yeah, we're super over the moon with what's going on here. And that's why also I never raised the price of this community above $100. Like every single group was telling me to do that for the longest time. And it just wasn't what was in the data. And I think Skool is starting to see that itself. Like the data shows that low ticket usually seems to be the steady, slow, consistent growth with happy teams and good fulfillment.
And I would actually say, Goose, that your price point is one that is so manageable for so many people across the platform that they will stick and stay. And you will see the people then that are within your community probably growing with the same typical pricing strategy as well. I know I'm kind of battling on what to price my membership site at, and I go back and forth in my head all the time. But yeah, but you give a lot of value for $99 a month, like a lot. Are you gonna do like extra class ticket purchase stuff of like one-offs? Like I call them like pop-ups of services.
I don't think so. I don't know if I necessarily have seen a whole lot of I haven't seen a whole lot of value yet in that sort of method. I mean, who knows? It could change in the future. But I think the way that it's been going so far is that a lot of this info is pretty easy to share in like these packages, like Odyssey, for example. That's like a great way to be able to like share some pretty high level stuff without too much labor, and a lot of people get access to it. So, once we have the checklists up there, that's going to be like pretty much a breeze. And I think what will probably become the future of it is my favorite clients are always the ones that I get from the low ticket, because they're so grateful for all the stuff that has happened. Like, oh my God, I've made like 20 times or 10 times what I even paid for to learn how to do this. And a lot of times they end up, like, I would almost go as far as saying like a third the time, these are the same people that are like, hey, can I just pay you to do this last thing, or to finalize this last bit? And so I actually end up getting most of my high ticket people from that. And I think that's probably, like, not to use the lead generation version of it, but the most organic, like wholesome way that I would like to keep running it, where everyone's like, this was fucking awesome. I now just scored 10K a month for 3 months in a row or whatever, or 5K a month for a couple months in a row, something like that. And then they go, okay, I'm ready for the next thing, saving time, paying for it with money. Does that make sense?
It does, yeah. So
Yeah.
when you get your classroom set up, because you've been going balls to the walls for like all of December and even this part of January, what then? What then for your paid members? Is it Mastermind once a week? Is the value that they'll get? Like, that's the other piece that I really toy with, because I've got my whole classroom set up for 12 months and I'm like, but what else can I give them?
Well, usually you can always ask. That's the best thing. That's how in the last month and a half, I've just been asking. In fact, I've had calls with a lot of you where I'm like, hey, what's helpful, what's not helpful? And I'd recommend doing that practice for your people too. A lot of us can get in the habit of being like, what's missing here? And asking yourself, when you should just be asking the people who are working through it, your members, your clients. And that has actually proven to be really good. Let's assume that everything is completely taken care of and like the classroom's totally stocked and all of that. I will probably be teaching a couple of coaches to do it the way that I've been doing it, so that we can reach a few more people that way, do more Odysseys. So like that would be something that we might do like once a week or twice a month or something like that, where, you pick one of the list of 12 things. This is the one I'm having trouble with, and we walk through that publicly and share that for everybody. That's a really big possibility. But also, I think at that point, the best communities that I have seen do a really good job of having a building system and then a management system. The building system in this case is Odyssey. So that's where you're like watching all of these people who are paying like big money or are absolute beginners. Like, there's lots of different variation, and you get to see how that process gets done, not the theory, which is what we talked about, a couple months back. And then the other one, the Blitz, is where you figure out how to manage that thing. And my favorite communities, the ones that I've seen be most successful, have one of those two things, and the ones that have both are just amazing. So I might recommend that being a better scenario than you think, when you have like a build and a manage system in your classroom or in your community in general. And from that point on, especially if you've got like a small ragtag team, maybe like 2-3 people, you're pretty nimble there, and people can go through it more passively, we'll say, and then still have like the active mastermind or something like this, where you get through a lot of the more psychological roadblocks, which is usually the case. Did that answer your question okay?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, great question, by the way. So yeah, totally with that. I really want to reiterate that part, that your best situation is when you've run out of what you need to put in your classroom. If your classroom is stocked, awesome. That's a great position to be in, because now you can either just add more of the same that works, or, which inevitably is something that we forget a lot, is reduce and take out things. When you're taking those things out, it gives you the ability to put those things in a new community, because there is a point where you're going, from what I've seen, it's probably around 1,000 engagements, 1,000 to 1,500 engagements per day. Once you're at that point, which is like a very good community, you're probably good. I think you could have sustainably another community branch off of that. So what you're looking at that point is the problem you want to have: a successful business that with relatively low effort can scale quite easily. So you replicate what worked, you take the more advanced elements of that, move it there, and now you have another ticket or another market, and now you can start expanding. Something that we'll see happen probably by the end of this year is community sales, because they're so valuable. I think we've talked about this once before. The last Facebook sale that we came across was like, I think it had a list of 20,000 people, something like that. And it was absolutely dead. It was a Facebook group, not a school group, a Facebook group. And it sold for $200K, a little over $200K. So imagine it being now even a lightly engaged group with that many people in it, or a lot fewer people, but it's on Skool, which is it's much more accessible than Facebook, which has, kind of bombards you with a lot of other things. You're probably looking at a much higher multiplier. So something to keep in mind there. Cool. Any other questions pertaining to that? Sweet. All right, dudes. So 2 things here. First, quick announcement. I totally forgot to mention. I decided, I think, tomorrow is when the Skool games runs, and I think I'm gonna go for it again this quarter. I haven't done it since last year now, so I think you're gonna see a lot of. I would urge you to pay close attention to what happens over the next month, because I've intentionally got a lot of things managed by a few people, and that is so we can see very clearly what's happening in that process. So you've seen what the community is like, last month, like what Lainey was saying. And if you can track the 3 things that you sort of want to take a look at is, what does the lead generation of a thing look like? What does the engagement strategies look like? And then what does it look like on the fulfillment side? And if you're doing a good job of those things, just being active, putting in the time, usually you're going to get pretty big results. So I'm going to launch that tomorrow. Kirby's running an event, I think he said at 10 a.m. tomorrow to launch. And from that point, you're going to start seeing that happen. Who knows? I mean, I'm not throwing a bunch of ad spend at this thing. In fact, I don't have any of it running right now, and I haven't. So, it's possible that someone will just do that, and then it'll grow really fast, and we'll have solid competition. But my sense is that a lot of people will be surprised with this new games, which you can no longer run a 999 anymore, which I love to hear. I'm sure we've talked about it a bit here. The limit is going to be $100. You can only compete in the Skool games with $100, nothing higher. So that actually works for a lot of people here. Yeah.
Good. So you're going to be using your existing funnel, so leads to clients?
Correct. Yep. Same thing. Yeah. And also a lot of, there's a lot of, I still have a lot of messages.
Do you have my biggest question, because I'm a strategist, is do you have a blueprint or game plan for how to win the game that you're planning? Like, do you have a step-by-step SOPs or procedure? You're like, I know phase 1 is this, phase 2 is this, phase 3 is this. Like, do you have an execution plan, in other words, that you could share or not share? I don't know.
Yeah, totally. I'm happy to share. So tomorrow around 10 a.m., I'm going to, I've already talked with some people in this group, and also I've basically amassed a small wait list of people who are like interested in trying to make this thing work, but didn't necessarily see any kind of results. So I was like, okay, well, you can just try out the community and see how it's working. And those that have started seeing results, I talked to. I'm like, all right, hey, are you ready to start paying for this thing? Because, and I think maybe some of you saw the video. I'll upload it tomorrow, but it's the retention video for Captivate. And what I talk about in there is how, psychologically speaking, but it doesn't really have to be that deep. In general, when you're trying to learn something, if you're not being subjected to pain as a result of not learning the thing, then you're less motivated to do it. You're going to become more lazy, more easily distracted, things like that. When the bill comes due at the end of the month, right, for rent or whatever, well, okay, you're going to fucking hustle and make that stuff work. So I explain in that that this community is probably a good example of something that should hurt just enough that it spurs action, where you're actually doing something. The $100 a month or the $1,000 a year, whatever that is. But it shouldn't be so much that you're feeling drowned from it. It should be just enough that you feel motivated. And we'll keep testing that whole thing. But going back to your question, Joseph, that is basically where I come back in. I'm like, hey, are you making money? Awesome. Now do me a favor and sign up at what it starts tomorrow at 10 a.m. That's going to be the launch. So the reason why I do that is because if you guys remember when I won the Skool games last April, I'm sure Sarah remembers this, the big PR stunt, which is something that I just love doing naturally, is I launched and made $8,000 in the first half hour. That was because I had pre-sold 15 people, and half of them purchased. Half of them actually followed through. And so we're just going to be doing the same thing here. So you'll probably see like $1,000 or $2,000 pop up if everyone goes through within that first half hour on the first day. That's going to be the first PR stunt. From that point on, I'm going to talk about exactly this, where I'm like, okay, how I did that, how you do it. From that, and that's mostly phase 1. Phase 2 then is going to be sort of a loud campaign where I'm talking about things that are going to be less talked about on the platform, which is going to be very easy because I have a whole Rolodex of how to do low ticket, which no one has talked about. I don't know what's going on here, but like whether it be Wick or Kirby or the rest, they're always like, this is how you high ticket. And I'm like, dudes, there's like a whole category of, I think the most, we've talked about it a couple times, what I think will be the most wholesome, successful long-term communities. I think it's always going to be the low ticket guys. And at a certain size, there's a certain size after that it just becomes really difficult to be able to fulfill at that level of scale. So we're probably going to start seeing this year what that sweet spot looks like. I don't think we have enough, or I have enough data that I've seen quite yet, but there's a size there that's going to be ideal. And then the last part is fulfillment. And hopefully everybody has seen a pretty good example of it in Captivate. Let me know if I'm missing something, but my sense has been that Odysseys have been a home run, not to mention when you're going through the blitz, I mean, we're still dialing it in so everyone still gets decent team members that stick together, which I think, you know, building your own team should do. But on the fulfillment side, if you've got something that can always push you to finish building what you're building, or at least that section of it, and then something that also shows you how to manage the thing and pushes you to do that, I mean, I think that's probably, like I was saying earlier, Laney, all you would really need is those two elements. So my fulfillment will probably be me training one or two coaches to help me do that a bit more robustly. So those will be, hopefully I explained that pretty clearly. I tried to give it a little bit of detail without getting too deep into it, but it's basically those three phases, Joseph.
You totally explained it. And it actually, I was able to follow the bouncing ball, not like last night with all those acronyms and video stuff. This was so much clearer.
Beautiful. I'm really happy to hear that. Yeah, I'm trying to use a lot fewer acronyms.
What? Oh my God.
Yeah. So, you know, in summary, it's almost always I recommend some kind of PR thing. After that, trying to make sure that, what's up, Vincent? After doing some sort of PR, making sure that you're talking about, like, you continue that tail, big head, long tail, even with PR, and then from that focusing on fulfillment, because you want your people, like, if you're doing it right, you have very few hours of the day to shower and eat food. Like, that is what a proper build looks like for a company like this. Something where you get to, even like in its perfect form, I should be able to travel, put in a few hours on an average day, and still have a system that's so tight that everyone is feeling really happy and excited to meet IRL, all of that shit. And that should probably be what you're aspiring to as well, something very similar, where you're not necessarily tied down to something you don't want to do. And this is essentially building the pathway to that. A Captivate dictionary. Maybe I should post something, actually. That could be cool. Dingus. Illustrate that one. Great question, Laney. Cool. So that was the announcement. I'll be launching and running for the games tomorrow at 10 a.m. So if I haven't already talked to you and you're like, hey, I'm making money from this group already, but you're not paying, kick yourself and then sign back up after that launch, and you'll show up on that board with me. I'd be very grateful. And I hope that you're getting your stuff out of it too. All right. So that was the big announcement. I'd love to hear now some of the challenges that anyone had with the Blitz, because this next Blitz should be a really, really good example, probably the best example of what we've done. Like, we've been doing this now for 4 months, the Blitz, and prior to that, 3 months of Rainbow games. So I'm actually really excited to release this whole thing. Love to hear feedback. Go ahead, Vincent.
Hello, everyone. I'm a bit late, so I didn't quite catch everything, but that doesn't matter because I'm here for your question. The big problem I had in my team with the Blitz this time was the different time zones. I talked about this earlier, or like 2 weeks ago, that because of the different time zones, we didn't have one time to meet up, and it was very difficult to just find like some day where everyone is able to hop on a call. So I would prefer it to be in a group next time where we have similar groups, like similar time zones, Europe, American, Asia, whatever.
Yeah, that's a great concept. So we've been thinking about it for a long time. We tried a few different things. And yes, I think you're right. I think that's going to be the fundamental thing that we base it off of. So I have a question for you guys. Should it be 3 or 2 time zones? Because I'm kind of thinking 2.
Make it 2, because 3 is so hard and you need to work all around the clock.
Yeah.
2 normally you can manage. So I sometimes have work constellations with Australia, US, and Europe, and that's been pain in the ass. If you add them Japan, then you're happy.
Yeah, totally. Okay.
So
all right, cool.
2 is always easy. You make it either really early or late, and you can manage. But 3 is literally like, I don't know. Sometimes I have something like calls starting 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and that's killing.
Yeah, totally. I feel that. Yeah, that's okay. So I'm with you. I think probably that was my hunch too. I think probably what we'll do is 2 time zones. So make sure we had some people that voted incorrectly on the last one. So make sure you vote correctly because this is going to decide like some pretty major things for the next month. The blitz is where most of us at this point are making a lot of our changes. It's always nice to see the money's coming in and stuff like that, but without just taking action on that little bit of clarity, like even if you're not fully understanding what's going on, it's always the action. The action is what does more than half of it. So it's nice to see those kinds of results, and I want to make sure that we get that taken care of as quickly and efficiently as possible. So 2 time zones. You got it, Vincent. We're going to do it, motherfucker. This is great. All right, Sarah, go ahead.
I have 2 thoughts. Are you saying like 2 time zones like PST to like Central in the US, or like 2 time zones like US and like Europe?
I think it'll basically be like Australia and the US, and then Europe can decide based off of what side that they're on.
Gotcha. And you have enough, my other caveat would be you have enough people in each time zone to be okay for that, to have a full team like that?
Yeah. Yeah, there's we've actually gotten a lot of requests. Nick isn't here right now, but he's a great example. He's always like, I need someone in my damn time zone. I mean, he's nicer about it, but you know, I'm a drama queen. So the I think the 2 focuses will be, are you East or are you West? And we'll just start some gangs. Seems like the healthy thing to do. I mean, I think one of the main qualities in community is there has to be people outside that aren't in the know. So I mean, it's a precursor to gangs anyways. May as well get it started. All right. Go ahead, Alicia.
Hey guys, so I guess I just wanted to mention what worked well for me this last blitz versus what didn't work well for me the first blitz. So I did November and December. November, I had a difficult time arranging my schedule to get on the calls. So throughout the whole month, I actually wasn't able to get any interaction with the rest of my team or for feedback or anything like that. And that's not their responsibility or anything like that. I just and able to really get into the swing of things that first blitz. But the second blitz, my team opted to not even do meetings, and all we did was a Google Sheet for accountability. Yeah, there's Elaine. Was it Robbie or who created that sheet? Elaine, do you remember?
I don't. I think it was John.
John, okay. So it just really helped because nobody had to not that you shouldn't show up, but nobody had to rewrite. Like I have 6 kids, so it's a bit difficult for me to like they're all screaming out there as I speak. I'm gonna have to go make sure they're all alive in a minute. But so to just be able to have that accountability on there, I work much better in written form than in video form anyway. So for me personally, it was a huge win. Other people might not like it, but if that were an option for me again this time, I would do that as well.
Cool. Okay. Anyone else got thoughts on that? Great.
Like the like offline, like so you got 3 now. You got 2 time zones and the offline version. The online version and the offline version. Meaning people who don't have time to meet or want to meet, they could participate in a team that's ran like what Alicia said.
Mhm.
Asynchronous.
Yeah, there's something to that. Eric, what do you think?
Yeah, piggybacking off of what Alicia said, I was in the past 2 months. The first month, communication meetings were amazing. And also something that happened to me, Vincent tagged me in a few threads, but I never got them. And I was so busy, I would look back like 5 days later and I would go in and I would see my name was tagged and highlighted, but I never got a notification. So I don't know if that happened to anyone because usually my notifications go off. So I thought that was kind of strange. Mm-hmm. So it was just difficult to, honestly, on my end, to participate as much because I've been really busy, and I'll hopefully share some first like paid in full by tomorrow. Got a call later this afternoon. And I think what Alicia said about the sheet is great because then we can just log on, and obviously the point of us being here is to grow our business, and we all hold ourselves accountable. We're all, entrepreneurs, and we don't need somebody to manage us. So I think like having something like that would be definitely easier for some of us that, depending on the stage that we're at, right? Because my first month it was easy for me to log on and engage. But this past month with calls, DMs, growing, it makes it so much more difficult to join. So that's just my input.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Okay.
Yeah, as far as like finding things in the threads and things, I found it very confusing and just it was hard to know where the conversations were going and to have to go through and reread everything. It was a bit confusing, but to have it all on the sheet, what we did was we wrote what our tasks were that we were, we had the date, the name, what our tasks were that we were completing, what was working great, what wasn't working, and then a place for some feedback from our teammates so that we could go through, see what each other was doing, and offer feedback if we wanted it or not. We could volunteer not to get it, but I think pretty much everybody wanted that feedback.
Yeah. Okay. Did anyone find, was it helpful to have meetings?
Yeah, I like the meeting for sure.
Me too. But personally, I'm so people driven. So if you give me just a spreadsheet, I think I would tend to ignore it and hate it because it would feel just like a chore and not like support. Because like I feel supported by people. So I think it's very personal who has which kind of preference. What I was also thinking about, because that is a idea a colleague of mine came up with, and I actually found it kind of brilliant. She was not manage a meeting. They didn't manage for meetings. They just had an open channel, actually even a video channel, and did something like remote co-working. And they mentioned that was so great for them because it was literally like, so haven't seen you for 2 hours. What have you done? You told me you do. Yeah. And again, also preference. But it was just like, so yeah, kind of co-working. But you don't need to go to a co-working space, but to create your kind of own environment. I kind of like that idea as well.
That's really cool, actually. I get what you mean. So it reminds me of something. Has anyone used what was it? Oh, Kevin Wong's that community, the metaverse thing that he made. Has anyone played on that before? No? It's something that I've been chatting with him recently because I was thinking about giving that one a shot here, where it's like a little video game. You enter it through the community, and it's basically like all captivated. You get in, there's colors everywhere. And it's just a little video game where you, from your computer, just like walk around, and as you're in proximity to others, you can talk and listen to them. And we could potentially do something like a co-working hours like that, where, yeah, exactly. Kirby and the rest of us tried it at one point. And it was kind of like a fun way of doing meetings where you could just walk in, walk out, and also go to other ones if you wanted to. In fact, this likely could happen where you show up in the game and then you walk over and I'm standing at a podium, my little character, and you guys just stand next to me, and then you can see my face show up on screen. We might try that. In fact, he was talking to me about doing something Thursday. Would you guys be down to try an event on Thursday if I put that together? Might be like a 2-hour co-working session or something like that. We could also like race, go-karts, whatever. It's pretty cool. It's kind of an abstract thing right now. If you haven't seen it before, just imagine an acid trip. That's really fun. That's what this is. So I don't know. I think that could be cool. Sarah, you cannot. Okay, so no metaverse for Sarah. You're forbidden.
I'm up for that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's try a little bit. We won't make it a mandatory thing, but we'll try it as a tool and see what people think. So I'm thinking, what if we do? So this ends at right now it's 9:40, so it's almost 10 a.m. Pacific time. So basically, we would start 10 a.m. Pacific on Thursday. So I'll go ahead and put it on the calendar, but it'd be right now, essentially, or in 20 minutes from now on Thursday. Does that sound cool to everybody? I'll go ahead and arrange it with him and see what Kevin thinks. Awesome. That's great feedback, Diana. I think there's something to be said about giving.
Is the layout like being in the school office?
We could do that. He did do a
Like
mock
put
up
the
of-
zebra, have a zebra room and whatever.
Yeah, I could talk to him about arranging it. I mean, many of you have come to visit us at the office, right? I know a handful of them.
So many
you guys.
pictures. I've seen so many pictures.
Yeah, I think we've all basically been there virtually at this point. But yeah, I think that could be something really that could be cool to try out, is find a little balance of that. So we'll make it so that if you just want to do a spreadsheet, you can do the spreadsheet. If you want to do it in person, or if you want to do calls, you can do calls. I think I would always urge people to spend some time, even if you're not masterminding, where you're co-working. I think the co-working element is kind of, I think there's something special about being able to be doing a similar thing all together, even if it's done virtually, where that's where I've seen the most results come from. And those of us that like doing things on our own, I totally get it, but I've even seen breakthroughs on that. Let me see. Laney. Okay, so yeah, that was another thing. People were saying that having a later, yeah, exactly, a nice big long meeting. People would be down for doing another meeting, but it would be in the evening Pacific time or the afternoon, so that we could get another time zone on there. Is that of interest to everybody? I've talked now to like 3 or 4 people about that. We're going to roll out a second meeting here, and I'm wondering if it should be the same time or a different time. I'll go ahead and play with that. Okay. Oh yeah, Vincent, you may have missed this part, but Yaya's going to be collecting all of that juicy stuff. What's up, Chris? And so everyone can tally up their points and send them to him, and we're going to stack them. And ideally, we have them by tomorrow, so we'll announce the winner tomorrow, along with your extra credit points. That'll be important. Cool. That's awesome. Great feedback, you guys. So I think this this new blitz may be the best blitz we've ever blitzed. So I'm looking forward to that. Any other questions pertaining to that, or personal questions? We have 15 minutes, so that's enough for a juicy stack of a few.
Goose, I have a random question. Are you going to be in the office end of January?
Not all of end of January. I'm going to be at, so the Skool games. I'm still hosting this event from, I think I'm driving over on the 23rd until the 28th. Yeah. So I'll be there after that.
Cool. I'll be in LA until February 3rd. So I was thinking of stopping by, saying hi.
Hit me up. Let me know when you're coming by.
Yeah, we'll do.
Yeah, that would be badass. Yeah, if you guys are ever coming by in the area, just shoot me a message. Totally game for that. Bryce, there we go. Bryce is in LA. Yeah. Just hit me up, you guys. Absolutely. Cool. Any roadblocks, anything that has been glaring you right in the face, and you're like, this is totally kneecapping my ability to move forward. Like, I want to hear from it. Tell me. Any other problems?
My biggest struggle is offer statement.
Okay.
That's just because I've toyed with it and said it and had gotten a bunch of feedback on it and changed it like 4 or 5 times. So that's kind of my biggest struggle is nailing that down.
Yeah. Careful how much feedback you get, because each one will
I know that's my problem. I want to analyze everybody's feedback and pick the best one, but I know that's always.
Yeah, that one's going to be a bit subjective. I would always recommend making an anchor offer nice and simple. So health, wealth, relationship.
Do you have a good example of just a great offer statement that has everything that's included in it, that needs to be included in it?
Yeah, we did a few of them in the call that we did with Jonas, the clarity one. We did a few of those there. I'd recommend taking a look at those. But
what phase is that?
The first one.
Just the first phase to build an offer statement. Okay.
Yep, that's right. Because that's basically what goes on to the sidebar. Is you'll just have a usually a good example of it, like health, wealth, relationships. Health would be like get 6 packs. Wealth would be earn 5K, and relationships would be like find your soulmate. those are three things that will always work, and most of what any of us will ever sell, we could put in there. It just becomes, what you're doing now is a method to do this. How to get your soulmate by delivering 10-star SEO. Boom. Right? It's so weird and interesting, but it has all of the fixings of what would make a good offer. So hopefully that's helpful. But if you have more questions on it, like let's hash through it maybe later this week or early next. But you at some point you do want to stop taking in information. You'll just have to run with it, with what you got. And a base anchor offer is usually the best thing to go with. Something that's very, very simple, doesn't say the how, just says the what, and it does so with health, wealth, or relationships. That's it. Who is next? Was it Vincent? Takiko? Vincent. All right. Hit me.
All right. Hello, everyone. Once again, my question is, how important is the classroom section if you have a free community? Like, I'm currently building up my free community, and I'm wondering how important it is to nurture the people who are already inside of it. I mean, is it really that good to hope for, like, that my clients get new ones and talk about my community, or should I rather focus on just getting in new members, and then after I've got a couple, then nurturing them?
Great question. Let's hear from someone here. Does someone have an answer for him? I'd love to hear what you guys think.
I can help.
All right. Yeah, go ahead, Jack, and then Chris.
Yeah, so the way that I'm kind of thinking about it is I'm pairing that with the YouTube content that I'm putting in. So the free community is really like a repository of just that I'm not a dumbass, essentially. So that people get some kind of value from it. And then they're like, damn, that was really good. This paid stuff could be a lot better. And essentially, I'm also using that for the rule of like 7 hours for them to know, like, and trust me enough so that they want to naturally take the evolution without needing to like sell them as much, so that the calls are more just like clarifying what the offer is and how it's going to work for what they're trying to do.
All right. So should I post about my YouTube videos in the Skool community as well, or not?
Yeah, because what I'm finding is I just posted my 2024 year in review, and the people from my school watch that video in an entirety, but the people randomly on YouTube don't all watch it, which is pretty crazy stats. Like, they're watching 12 minutes of a 12-minute video. Normal people are watching like 3 minutes. So that's pretty crazy. And a thought that I have for classrooms is each classroom module is more of something that they're gonna get, like an outcome that we're trying to drive. So I would say something like with confidence or how to look better, things of that nature. Mine is marketing, sales, operations, breaking that all down. So a drivable outcome in that module. And then I'm pumping like so much content that they almost don't want to watch it. So they just naturally want to evolve into it. It's almost kind of just like, hey, here's my report card. I got straight A's. Dang, you must be smart. Now I want to go to the next level. It's kind of how I see it. And some people will obviously take and actually watch all of the content, but the goal is that they take whatever they need from it. And then they're like, wow, that was really smart. And I didn't think of it that way. Maybe this guy knows something I don't know.
Yeah. What Jackson's talking about is has proven to be a very successful strategy, where in the free community, you generally inundate people with a lot of information, like all of the information. And because it's so much to consume, a lot of times they're like, all right, just take my money and let's do the streamlined version of this.
Yeah, there's also the crazy part about like Corey with the Google ads that he does. I'm already in his paid community, but he also has modules on how to do Google ads, and they're like 10 modules, 30 minutes a piece. And I'm like, fuck, I don't even want to do this. I don't even want to learn how to do Google ads inside of an already paid community. I just want this guy to run my ads so I don't have to deal with it. So it works at every point. It's very crazy in that regard.
Yeah, that's why if anyone remembers, you're selling information in the free, access in the paid, and your high ticket is a DFY or more access. They get to come cuddle with you. Chris, did you want to chime in?
Just maybe, thank you. Just maybe a small additional thing. Maybe you can let your members nurture all the other new ones if you optimize your onboarding process. Just do a welcome post for every new member and let them make a big fat party for every new one. And so they build a lot of trust and they build a lot of good feelings. So just remember the thing like, okay, I'm coming to a party and there's one guy showing me around. Where's the DJ? You can drop your wishes for music there, get your snacks there, there's the toilet, there's the good stuff, and in this room you can get your, the good stuff, the exclusive VIP stuff. And so this is a thing I made and found out that it's really working because they doing the work for you. And this is nurturing enough to build some good vibes and feelings and trust too. And the next step, if you use to show everything you do in the outside too, they are a little bit overwhelmed and say, okay, give me the focus thing in the paid. And so this is really good working.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, one other caveat, and then I'll shut up. But if
sure.
you haven't already made all those modules, like I'll just break, if that's cool, for 1 second to kind of show the breakdown of what I have.
Yeah, do it,
guys. If you don't have everything already built out like this, you can also say that it's a work in progress, and these could be a nice way to also create the posts inside of your community, like, hey, we just launched this new module on the overall course that you have as well too in the free. Could be useful.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then another question pops up to my mind. Is it okay if I just continue?
Yeah, that's fine. We'll run over a bit. I don't have another meeting until.
Sure.
Yeah, I've got some.
How well does it work to use a YouTube video as a feature of a course? Like if I publish a YouTube video on one topic that I have in my course and I just put that in as a module there, does that really work? Or should I do two separate videos, like one that is more unedited, directly speaking to someone, and one that is more of the YouTube style, retention-based kind of content?
Anyone got an answer for him?
The crazy part is, what I would say is that I've learned from Goose is just make it the YouTube videos and just treat them like YouTube videos entirely. So you'll get both the reach from inside of the group and also from YouTube at the same time, and more views, higher retention. YouTube's probably going to say, dang, that's a really good video, because everybody's going through it entirely, and you're going to get a double whammy.
That's right. You want to find as many stones as possible that just kill all the birds.
Let me clarify. So I think I just heard a golden nugget. You're saying don't do a Loom video for your stuff in your group. Do a YouTube video in there, because that's going to trigger the traffic from your group to watch it.
Yeah, and the crazy
that's
part
an
about
insane little trick right there.
Yeah, and the crazy part about it as well too is you can still make those videos like you would a Loom style. Think of a Loom style like a YouTube video in that regard. Like, boom, straight to the point. Boom, we're not messing around. A little bit of promise, plan, everything like that, but just boom, straight into the value, and you're going to get even better retention onto those videos as well too.
But post that on YouTube and then post the YouTube on Skool.
Yep,
man, that's dope. That's that just changed my SOP. Great.
So yeah, some feedback on that. To hit home the point, that's a great point, Jackson. Yeah, I guess I haven't explained that one in more detail yet. Since I started doing the Odyssey, I was posting all of those to YouTube, which I've normally been doing for a lot of other content. Yesterday, Jackson was also on the call where we were going through and I was showing everyone how to edit those 80/20. And since I uploaded, I think I've done like 6 Odysseys or something like that so far. And the view hours are up 35 hours in the last 2 weeks because of that. Because not only does everyone love watching it here, but it gets pushed, and then those people are also watching it through like halfway, and these are like 2-hour videos. So it's something to consider. Also, I'm going to put in the chat here. This is, I still have to put together our post those videos so that everyone can see them. But the videos we were editing while on that live, one of them was this one, which you feel free to take a look at. It's unlisted right now. This is the retention video, so I'd urge you all to make a retention video that's something similar. And it was, just so everyone knows here, it was like I just shot on a one take. I'm like, I'll figure it out. And it seemed like it worked just fine. So I just threw some music on it, did some quick cuts, and then put 4 sound effects, and that was done. I mean, I think it took less than 10 minutes. And that's the kind of thing that you want to do, is have a system that's so efficient that, to Vincent's point, you do one time very efficiently that capitalizes on the engagement, saying like there's music, there's something that plays with your visuals, so that there's a cut. So I'm like, I'm here, and then I'm here, so it just keeps it a little bit dynamic, and then a sound effect or two. When you do something like that, it's basically as good as you're going to get. That's the 80/20, and that's what we were talking about. So I'll upload those soon.
Is that the video that you put at when they try to cancel?
Correct.
Okay. I saw that. I didn't even know that was there until I started going through all of my settings. I was like, oh man, that would be a great thing to do, is add a video right there, because most people don't do that.
Yeah. So use this one as an example.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool.
And come up with whatever reasons are the best for your audience, or just riff on it. But yeah, this is I want to keep on using examples of things that you guys can actually like copy or emulate, something like this. Great question.
All right, yeah, then thank you once again. I need to head out, but thanks everyone.
You got it, baby. You're very welcome. Let's see, before we break, let's do one more here with Akiko. Akiko, you have had your hand raised for a little bit. I love those fucking headphones so much.
Hi guys. Hi. So I have quick questions. The first one, we just talked about the YouTube video. And I make YouTube video and I post it to the community as a module. And I put ads unlisted. Is that the good way to do it, or should I make it public?
Do you mind if people see it, like if they just stumble upon it?
Yeah, it's all for the free community anyway. So
Yeah.
I don't mind to be on public.
Yeah. So I mean,
Should I-
I would just have it public then. Most of the videos, unless for me, it's like, this retention video, for example, that would be kind of weird to just like have as a public video, like, hey, looks like you're thinking about leaving. That's stupid. That's probably something that you want to keep for unlisted. But I think anything that's not like super hyper niche, like a certain response to a niche category that you have, anything that could be just considered a conversation you might have with someone on the street, put that one out there for sure. The more that you have that, the better, I would say.
Okay, all right. And second question is, our free group is show as public, which is like everyone can go to our page and see the module, and then possibly they can see the video too.
No, they can't go in the classroom. They can just see the community.
Oh, just see the community.
Yeah.
If someone can request some material on a module from the public.
No, but
Okay.
I mean, Joseph can speak to this actually quite well, because there's reasons why you would want to do that. And there's not really much of a loss. Joseph, do you want to speak to that?
Yeah, I sure can. There's not much of a loss, because what you have to do though is make sure you make it don't do a 0 level entry to your classroom, at least a level 1, which means they have to join to even see the classroom or click or whatever. And also your calendar, you have to make sure that that's attached to the classroom, so that if they try to click on the calendar events, it'll also say you can't see them or whatever. So you lock it down, and then you make the feed public, because everything you post in public now, if you know the trick that Goose has taught, where if you post welcome or whatever your title is that you're going as your target keywords, you can make that as your post title and then come back after you've got the URL, rechange that title where it is sexier, and then write the content correctly, and that's going to get in the Google feed as long as it's in public. And so your free community, you make it public because it's the awareness stage, and that feed, once it becomes juicy and it's killer, like this feed would get you to join just watching the feed. You know, if your feed's really good, that'll sell people to join too. And they can't comment, they can't click like, they can't do any of those things until they join. So that's kind of another reason why people will join. But that public is going to, or private or public's going to get you in the Google feed. And that's why we suggest doing that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So,
And the only thing that you're kind of giving up if you set it up correctly is just your feed access to the public. Everything else gets locked down through the classroom.
okay. So when you say connect the module to the calendar, that means like I have to make one like a module or page
Yeah.
mention about the event on the calendar.
Yeah, like we have a podcast classroom, even a classroom for the happy hour time. And then if you got to be level 2 to see happy hour time, you just attach that classroom to that calendar link. So they have to, and if you wanted to lock something down via paid, you just do a little paid thing in your classroom, and they have to pay for it if they want access to it or in the calendar. So the classroom can lock down and enable your calendar.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
And that's why you can make your group public because it's still locked down. They have to become a member and then participate in your leaderboard to get access.
Yeah, the reason I ask about the public group, one of the material we give away for free is someone, if someone needs this, just request to us. And we receive the email with someone's name who doesn't recognize us. Like maybe someone is using like a fake name, but the email address name is real, so we couldn't figure it out. So we put in a public, so maybe they can do something, but I guess they cannot unless they join our free group, right?
Yeah, they have to join to comment or like or whatever.
Yeah, comment or request the material.
Yeah, just like Facebook. You can't comment or like on Facebook unless you join.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you can see the feed if it's public, and that the good thing about seeing the feed public and making your awareness stage or your free public, that feed is we can target we can target that just like a blog and get keyword traffic. There's people here that we've helped even in our little Blitz group that are now #1 ranking for some of the things in Google because of this method. So you're sleeping. Like most people don't know, like Reddit is the highest. Reddit is just, Google wants to see real people having real conversations, not this AI stuff anymore. So now in the top 10, Skool and Reddit are showing up in top 10 search posts because they're ranking actual conversations and discussions, which I appreciate that, but that's why we can capitalize on that too.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Joseph.
I'm having a free course coming out, by the way, that's going to show you how to target the right keywords to get that to rank on Google. So that's coming out. It's going to be in my free community coming out.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Testing it. We've got some great case studies right now. The tests are insane. So you can rank fast on Skool. Like I'm talking like within the week we can rank.
Wow. All right. One last question. We have one strategy call coming up this week, and the lady is interested in not our end result, but the process, which is like learning Japanese and able to communicate the daily conversation with her family member in Japan. So I'm kind of having trouble setting a price for that because it's not for our high ticket, but not low ticket, but in a kind of middle ticket, because we're gonna include a one-on-one, but not heavily doing a one-on-one for her because she's kind of busy, only once a week type thing. So do you have any suggestions? Still stick with 99?
It's tough because I know when you're looking at it so closely, you think it's easy to slip into the situation where you see all these things as separate.
Yeah.
The answer I would probably give is sell her if she wants
Mhm.
what you offer at a one-on-one. Just so
Mhm.
everyone has some context, Akiko and Ian are running a learn how to speak Japanese community. However, the offer is get a career in Japan by learning how to speak Japanese. And in this case, I imagine your person just wants to learn Japanese. You can still sell her that high ticket, and you have the
Mhm.
have the added bonus of you don't have to be applying for a job, but you will need to know this level of
Mhm.
Japanese. Your purposes are just different. So yeah, we'll offer you the same package.
Mhm.
We're going to deliver the same result, even though the
Mhm.
research is different. Remember, that's just to get them in the door. And once they're in the door,
Okay.
keep doing what you were going to do anyways.
So.
And Bruce, or Akiko,
Mhm.
maybe this is just the same thing, but with another package, because like when she wants to speak with her relatives, that is
Mhm.
relationship. She wants to improve her relationship with her people there and be able to
Mhm.
communicate properly, what especially in Japan is also a sign of respect. But it's not so far from the business offer. It's just a different package.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, like when you have if you have the big three, normally you would go for wealth, and that is about relationship. And so I think there are honestly quite some people, especially who I think experts or spouses who travel with, who easily could be on that page. And probably that's just another entry point to your high paid community.
Yeah, I completely agree with Diana.
Okay.
Absolutely. Is that helpful?
Yeah. Thank you so
All right.
much.
You're very welcome. Last thing before we break, actually, Bryce, I remember you saying that you had a question. Are you there? Are you busy? Are you still
Yeah,
boxing?
I'm driving, so I just took it all in today. I'm okay. I truthfully have no bottlenecks. I know exactly what I need to do to grow. So
Boom.
I don't like asking mindless questions. Like I can ask I can ask 1,000 questions, brother, but it's none of my constraints, so I'm okay.
All right, beautiful. Well, hit me up if something like that does show up. Does anyone have any final last things before
I do
we?
want to add something to what Jackson said a long time ago. People were just talking, so I want to add. Like, it's to confirm that YouTube thing. It was so true because 54% of my traffic actually comes from Skool. I checked the YouTube stat, and it's because I have low viewers right now, but it's still a great stat to know that 54% of people is coming from Skool. So just to add to that.
Exactly. And does everyone know what that term is? What is that?
Hyper something.
Hyper organic, baby. That's what it is. Yeah. Don't forget that. That's important because that will continue to grow in strength here soon. So don't leave it on the table there, but always be shooting for two birds, one stone. You're making that content on YouTube and it gets driven because the people in your community are like, they give a shit about it. And eventually, if it's decent content, the people on the outside will too. And you just have cross-pollination all over the place. So that's important. All right.
I'm excited. I'm excited for leads to come from YouTube because like it's a whole nother world when your leads are paying you to sell them more. Like because the attention is monetizable. So you're getting paid from YouTube and the lead getting sent to you.
Yep. Yeah, that's absolutely right.
You call that hyper organic?
Yes.
I call it harmonic organic because it connects all the pieces of the cord that feed into each other that actually amplify the entire message. That's what I call harmonic organic.
That's sexy.
It's
I like
better than hyper organic. Let's go.
Our organic harmonics.
Exactly. That's what, join my group. That's what we do. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, you have to all sit in a circle singing the harmonic hum. Cool. All right. Everyone good? We've got time for like one more thing before I got to jump to my call. So if anyone has anything, speak now or wait forever until the next call. All right, sweet. Okay, love you all. Thanks for coming. I'll see you all soon. And remember, tomorrow, we're running for games tomorrow, so you'll see some shit all over the place. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye, everybody.